Good, happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Riley King. It's Sunday, March 15, 2020. Welcome to this Sunday edition of Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. First up, Governor Chris Sununu. Today, we'll hold a press conference at 1 p.m. with New Hampshire's Commissioner of Education, Frank Edelblut, and HHS Commissioner Lori to provide an update on the state's response to COVID-19. New Hampshire House, Senate continue to meet during COVID-19 outbreak. Legislative leaders say they're monitoring situation. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
Hi, I'm Sherry Allen, proud owner of Mercedes-Benz in Portsmouth. We put every effort into making Mercedes-Benz...
Lawmakers met for a second long day at the State House in Concord as the response to COVID-19 unfolded outside the chambers of the House and Senate. Some rank-and-file legislators are starting to wonder if it's a good idea to remain in session.
It's very worrisome, to be honest with you. A lot of us are of my age with, things like emphysema, and it's worrisome, but this is what our rules say, and we have to follow our rules.
Legislative leaders tell us they are monitoring the situation. What's the rationale behind the General Court still meeting right now?
Well, I think the executive branch and the legislature have taken a different perspective so far.
While no one in charge is talking recess just yet, on Thursday, Senate Democrats proposed some economic measures in response to the outbreak, including job protection for quarantined workers.
Just look forward to working together with our Republican colleagues on this response package. It's important that we cover workers that get some wage replacement insurance, unemployment insurance.
The governor is also taking action on this front, proposing similar employment assistance, and he's calling on the federal government to fund grab-and-go meals for students who rely on school breakfast and lunch.
Sometimes it's the only meal of the day for those students, and again, it's one of those big dominoes that could potentially fall when you're making these big decisions of closures, when communities are faced with those decisions.
Governor Chris Sununu says the state is staying on top of this developing situation.
As we move forward, things could change in a moment's notice. We know that, and so we're keeping that ability, whether it's to call a state of emergency or to open something up, call public health emergency. We always have those options given the flexibility and fluidity of this situation.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire legislature suspends operations for 1 week. State House only open for governmental operations until further notice. The New Hampshire State Legislature is suspending all activities for at least 1 week, leaders announced on Saturday. The State House will be closed to legislative members, legislative staff, and visitors from March 16th to the 20th. The building will remain open for governmental operations. Democratic candidates for governor cancel campaign events due to coronavirus. Valencia criticizes Sununu for not declaring state of emergency sooner. GOP hits back at disgusting politicalizing of outbreak. Hollis residents convene for town meeting, then vote to postpone it. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Hi, I'm Sherry Allen, proud owner of Mercedes-Benz of Portsmouth. We put every effort into making Mercedes...
It ended just as quickly as it began.
This meeting is recessed until April 18th.
More than 100 people showed up for Hollis's town meeting Saturday, the majority voting to postpone it until April 18th over COVID-19 concerns.
Quick meeting. I'm glad. Quick and to the point.
That's the fastest I've been in, because I'm an ex-town clerk, so I've been to 35 of them, and we've never done this. We've never had this.
Better to have more people here, more representative of the town. This is not really enough to get a good opinion, especially there's a couple controversial articles that are going to be argued about.
There had been questions about even convening like this in the first place.
We all shouldn't be here. They've canceled school for 2 weeks, so no, we shouldn't be here.
We created a venue with great social distancing. We have all kinds of precautions.
Ultimately, it was decided to let the taxpayers determine how to move forward.
The choice was to convene the meeting and then offer the electorate an opportunity to suspend or recess the meeting.
Board of Selectmen Chairman Mark Ledoux says if the situation doesn't improve by April 18th, town meeting would be delayed again. He says it might be time to consider making changes to the voting process.
Maybe some alternative mechanisms to allow people to vote, either remotely or some other fashion.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And to find your New Hampshire Town Meeting Day results, you can just go here. Just go to WMUR.com and look for the link for town meeting results. Also, we will share the link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Republican Mesner to drop $2 million more into his Senate campaign. Bulldog supporter criticizes Mesner use of personal money for pharmaceutical investments to help fund his campaign. Bulldog lays out 4 pillars of his campaign for U.S. Senate. Republican first-time candidate stresses limited government, economic growth, financial responsibility, strong national defense as top campaign themes. Top Sanders supporter pleased candidate is staying in race. Longtime progressive activist liked what he heard from his friend and favorite presidential candidate Bernie Sanders on Wednesday. And he is also happy that Bernie Sanders is staying in the race. Trump reveals he has been tested for COVID-19. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
A test despite potential exposure. Today, President Trump revealed he has been tested. The results just released by the White House, and they are negative for the coronavirus. After he had declared that national emergency, the House voting overnight to approve a massive aid bill providing enhanced unemployment benefits and free virus testing, with the Senate taking it up Monday. ABC's Trevor Alt with more on the precautions tonight at the White House.
Today, President Trump stepping before the podium to tell the American people he's been tested for the novel coronavirus.
I decided I should, based on the press conference yesterday. People were asking, did I take the test? I don't know, whatever it takes, a day or 2 days, whatever it is. They send it to a lab.
Tonight, the president's physician reporting the test was negative. For days, the president had been saying he didn't need one, even after concerns he'd been personally exposed to the virus.
I don't think it's a big deal. I would do it. I don't feel that any reason, I feel extremely good. Let's put it this way, I'm not concerned.
Are you being selfish by not getting tested and potentially
Well, I didn't say I
exposing-
wasn't going to be tested.
Are you going to be?
Most likely, yeah.
Overnight, his personal physician releasing a letter saying a test for the virus was not currently indicated, as he said the president was low risk, despite coming into contact with several Brazilian officials who have since tested positive, including communications chief Fabio Weingarten, seen here next to the president. The Brazilian delegation also met with Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, and he too is now infected, and Brazil's president Jair Bolsonaro will be tested for the virus for a second time on Friday.
Thank you very much.
With officials urging social distancing, the president's also drawing criticism for seemingly disregarding advice from his own agencies, shaking hand after hand Friday in the Rose Garden.
But why are you shaking hands, sir?
Because it almost becomes a habit. People come up to me. They shake hands. They put their hand out. It's sort of a natural reflex. Shaking hands is not a great thing to be doing right now. I agree.
Today, the White House unveiling new measures to limit the threat of exposure inside the West Wing.
You should space more.
Members of the media getting their temperatures taken before entering the briefing room. The vice president's office saying one journalist was denied entry because his temperature was too high. When asked if the coronavirus task force assembled at the same podium as the president and vice president were also being checked, they all nodded.
I had my temperature checked, too.
Even the president telling us as he left the room.
Was your temperature normal, Mr. President?
All right, Trevor All joins us now from the White House. And Trevor, you were in the briefing room there, and the vice president said he had not been tested for the virus. This is the second time in 2 days he and the president have appeared next to each other. What's being done? Are they ignoring those social distancing recommendations?
Well, Tom, ABC News has obtained an email sent by Vice President Pence this afternoon to the entire White House staff urging them to avoid physical contact. It says the CDC recommends home quarantine for anyone who's had prolonged exposure, but it does specifically say that doesn't apply to handshakes and photographs. Tom.
All right, Trevor Alt with all those new developments from the White House tonight.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Democratic presidential debate is on tonight on CNN and Notice Univision at 8 p.m. Let's take a look at the preview.
The CNN and Univision Democratic presidential debate tonight at 8 Eastern on CNN.
There you go. And that does it for this Sunday edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. And have a great week ahead of you, everyone. Goodbye, and thank you for watching.